Destiny has a lot of smaller issues that still deserve attention. Not every problem in the game is so obvious or so detrimental to a large percentage of players that you'll find them constant topics in podcasts or getting hundreds of thumbs up on Reddit. Like I stated in the first episode, I want to talk about the lesser discussed things. Many of them aren't large enough to have an entire episode dedicated to themselves. So, let's get right into it. First are shaders. Holy hell, are these things bad. They don't even have a logical process to their application so we can figure out exactly how they're wrong. We can't even spend time listing all the pieces that simply ignore or largely ignore shaders. There'd be too many. And when they finally fix one, Twilight Garrison, they fix only one. One. There are dozens, including most exotics, that just don't care if you have a shader. Let's take a look at shaders on a piece of armor that does care and see how inconsistent it applies them so we can collectively scratch our heads on this one. This is the Warlock's Seraph Reform 1. I had to go rare to find a good example on me. On the left is a piece without shaders. On the right is after rubbing on some ointment just to show that very little of this piece isn't affected by color. Now, let's look at this shader. I probably should have picked one I could pronounce confidently as my example, but moving on. All three colors in the shader are present on the chest piece. Being that it's impossible to know what the actual correct orientation is, I'm picking this piece as at least all colors are here. Working from the inside out, number 1 will be the circle, and, on this piece, is the chest plate. Number 2 will be the ring and is the main fabric. Number 3 will be the border and is the center of the shoulder strap. This next shader, Feud Unfading, follows the same pattern. 1, the center, is the chest plate. 2, the ring, is the main fabric. 3, the border, is the shoulder strap. Now, let's look at some examples of how the game just doesn't apply shaders uniformly. This is pre-dawn. Instead of 1, 2, 3, it goes 1, 2, 2. The border color isn't present on the chest piece. Mercurial Dawn goes 1, 1, 3. No ring color at all. Autumn Splendor goes 1, 2, 1. This fancy one goes 1, 1, 3. This Miami Dolphins shader? It goes 1, 3, I don't know. That dark color on the strap isn't present in the shader, nor is it the default color for this piece. This last shader goes 2, 2, 3. The inside color isn't present. Now, if you were looking at this in a vacuum, you might think that someone just colored the shader wrong. But look at the helmet. Color 1 is present. Someone programmed the armor pieces to have tags on them. Maybe it was their intent with some of the pieces to not use all of the colors, but I don't feel that'd be the right call. There's got to be some logic to the results somewhere in the code, since these results are reproducible, but I just don't like it. Using the Hallow shader, because it's blacker than the black shaders and skips the orange ring entirely, shouldn't be doable. Next, a small one. What strike is this week's Nightfall? You can't tell when using the director. You can't tell when back at your ship's screen. Hell, you can't tell when looking at the app. There are places on all three screens with useless words that could be replaced, but no, you have to load in. Yes, the small stuff matters. Next, if the Plague Lands were designed with only the more powerful systems in mind, why the long useless transition areas still equipped with common loading pauses? If it's because the engine was to blame the whole time and not the older system, then simply admit that. Seems to me that it was both. If it was only the hardware, the Plague Lands shouldn't have been designed with all this useless space that still couldn't load the next area. Was flashy armor and flowing lava really all the benefit that there was to be had? Next, isn't it unfortunate that, no matter what you are doing, the Vanguard aren't really bothered? They'll just sick you on the case. They don't offer or arrange any help. the sole exception being the ship used to land on the dreadnought. Only now, at the beginning of Destiny 2, do they get off their asses, and it's because they have to. Next, sparrows. The worst vehicles in any game ever. The end. Next, the flavor speak. We know that the game's development went through a large revamp and some stuff got thrown around, but that doesn't explain why the game updates often conflict with the game we know. Here's an example. In the original game, we are told the reef is on the edge of where the light touches. In The Taken King, we are shown that the dreadnought is at Saturn and told that the dreadnought shields from the traveler's light. And yet, there we are, using our supers and abilities. The game doesn't tell us why we're breaking the rules. It should. Another example is Eris Morn stating that Toland is the only Guardian who has seen the Ascendant Plane. Yet Ikora states that she has a dozen Warlocks watching it. Why even give Ikora that comment? You only hear it while near her in the tower. The conflict was easy to avoid. If it's somehow not a conflict, they need to show why. In-game, Bungie, so our perception is righted. Next, trading. We don't have trading in the game because, according to Bungie, they want every gun to have its own story. They want you to cherish how and where you got it. If that was truly their reason, 3 of Coins wouldn't exist. When you eliminate Nightfalls as a common activity by reducing the rewards to largely junk, and people stop doing them, this leaves only 3 sources for exotics. Exotic quests, engrams from 3 of Coins, and Xur. Quests themselves are neat, and let's hope they continue and get neater and neater. But they don't serve the purpose of everyone having a story to share because everyone has the same story. Xur is the same thing. No one cares if you got your exotic from a vendor. That's not a story. That leaves us with engrams. Our stories have all become going back to the tower and decrypting engrams. Well, that's not a story either. We've heard the stories about Bungie guys having talks with the Blizzard guys. There was even a recent interview where it was talked about candidly. The thing is, whether or not there was actually talk done about loot trading doesn't matter. Either way, I feel Bungie is wrong here. If they talked about loot trading and decided it would be best not to allow it, they should just say that and admit it, not come up with some lore-friendly excuse for Deej to roleplay to us. If they didn't, then they need to admit that they just wanted stories, but pretty much failed in creating a loot system that would allow that. Even making Nightfalls drop them consistently wouldn't solve the problem anymore. They'd become the only random drop, so people would just shrug if that was your story. You did the only activity that drops them decrypted, and you got it there. Moving off exotics, they've made legendaries more of a process than something rewarding. You know you're going to get one when you level with the faction, the Vanguard, or the Crucible. You can shop for them weekly. You can spend keys on exactly the strike you want to get something you know it's supposed to drop. I farmed for a whole month and hated it isn't a story, nor is luck sacking into getting it the first time you played. It was expected that you might simply because you were playing that specific strike or leveling that specific faction. Next is light leveling your second and third characters. What is the quickest way to level their light? Play your first character. Infusion and weapon ghost relic sharing has made it possible to hit 400 light on a character the minute you hit level 40. There is no endgame progression for those characters. You don't have to. You can, but the fact that it's a skippable process means that a lot of people feel the need to skip it to get to the endgame grinding faster. I don't like this game aspect. Like the loot system, it's another part of the game that I hope doesn't carry over to the sequel. If it does, let's phase it out for something better. Next is the complete lack of enemy innovation. For an entire 3 years, we've had nothing but reskins. Take a look at this. Video of a Dreg from the Cosmodrome Patrol throwing a grenade, and video of a Splicer Dreg throwing a grenade. We're starting year 3, and we get more Fallen that basically put on jerseys and mohawks. 2 years of game design and creative should have come up with something more. I don't care if the excuse was it just being the live team working on this. This was an expansion we paid for after another expansion we paid for that gave us reskins. Next is strike scoring. Why introduce this if it's only going to matter in a couple of places after the one-time dawning event? I feel strike scoring was a great idea and would have added a lot of variables to reward payout if implemented correctly, but they pretty much let it fall on its face. Currently, the only places it matters are in the Sunrise bounty from Zavala and in one or maybe two regular strike bounties. With the Sunrise bounty, most players won't even be bothering with it after they get their new icebreaker. That non-quest pretty much placates players to bother with the otherwise unrewarding Nightfall. The one or two regular strike bounties are so generic that they might as well not require points at all. Great system, horrible lasting impact. With that, we'll go ahead and bring this series to an end. Of course, we didn't cover everything in Destiny, but my aim was to bring up the stuff not or seldom talked about, not do a complete exhaustive teardown. I'm excited to have put together my first series, and I hope it leads to a lot more. As always, if you'd like to visit me on stream, I'll have links in the description and shown at the end of the video. I love game design talk the most, so if you want to watch me trail off for minutes on a subject, that's the ticket. I don't strictly play Destiny, as new titles also interest me, and I like playing online to share the experiences, but moving forward, I plan to stream twice daily. One stream likely always being Destiny. That is, until Destiny 2 comes out. Thank you all again. This has been Riylo with my Destiny Postmortem.